Hello, divine souls of earth. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Existential Healer, and today we are doing a pick a card reading. Before we get into the cards, I would like to talk about some announcements I have on my channel. First of all, I just recently launched a Patreon page. So on Patreon, you will find 4 different tiers. Don't feel pressured to go into either one. I will still be posting on YouTube, but the benefits of subscribing to the Patreon, at least in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th tier, will be exclusive weekly readings. As far those readings will go into like the energy ahead in the coming week. Also on Patreon, I will be making affirmation lists that relate to each reading, including the one today and including the week ahead readings and all other readings that I post. Also on the 3rd and 4th tier, I'm going to be starting a guided meditation catalog where we're going into different tarot decks, and each guided meditation will be based on a specific tarot card. So this series is starting with this deck, okay? It's the Inner Child deck. I'll post a link to it in the description below. And the card we are meditating over this week is Ace of Wands. So I'll probably post it on YouTube at some point just to get some more views, because I am very new to Patreon. But just so you know, the entire catalog will be on Patreon, and you will also be able to make suggestions for upcoming collective readings. You'll be able to find resources as far as like personal readings on Patreon, and you get to support me and help me continue creating content. So with that being said, we'll get into today's reading. Today we are speaking with the higher self, the collective higher self, okay, and the messages that our higher selves have for our own self-discovery, okay? Messages that will be guiding us along our path and helping us take the next step in our path. And we have 3 piles to choose from. We have Snow White with an Untitled mushroom. We have 4 of Swords with flower agate mushroom. And we have 4 of Hearts with the lapis lazuli mushroom. Now, in order to tune into this energy, just take a deep breath, let go all of the energy from your day, really sit with this moment and tune in. I'm going to leave some time now to sit with the cards, and before I go, remember that tarot and oracle are just a means of discovering new messages. This is not to replace any medical or legal advice. This does not deem you to any certain realities. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Hello, pile number 1. So your card is Snow White, and in the traditional tarot deck, it is the Hermit card, okay? And overall, the general message right now from your higher self is you being sort of the light to humanity, okay? And it sort of comes from integrating all parts of the self, okay? You have your physical work, your emotional work, your mental work, and then you also have the soul work. So we're kind of integrating all parts of the self into one self, and that's helping us discover what it means to be alive, what it means to feel fulfilled. And yeah, so that's the general energy behind your card today. We're gonna get right into the reading as well with some tarot and a bunch of oracles. So we have 3 tarot cards here. We have the 6 of Swords, okay? We have the 9 of Cups and the Prince of Cups. Okay, so with the 6 of Swords, we see here a group of people going on a journey, and one person being left behind with sort of like this fertile being over here. She's pregnant, and one of the swords is staying with her. And in the 9 of Cups, we have people enjoying fruit. It seems like being fruitful, having luxury. And then the Prince of Cups is sort of like this overall vision of beauty and vision of fulfillment and collective just I don't even have the right word for it right now, but basically you're seeing the journey of going from feeling like there's parts of you that have been left behind on your journey, then to rediscovering them and bringing them back into the picture, and at the end you have a whole self. So kind of what we were discussing in the first part regarding the Hermit card or the Snow White card here, is that right now your higher self wants you to understand that you are integrating your entire self. So pieces of you that you didn't know existed, or you forgot existed, or that have been left behind in trauma and in hard times. And you're sort of rediscovering what it means to feel fulfilled, what it means to feel good inside your body, inside your life, okay? And it's all going to ultimately connect you to the higher self, or this angelic realm of divinity that you feel like you might have been missing out on or snoozing through for quite some time. But here your spiritual helpers are keeping the bad energy on the outside of your journey, okay? And it's the rest is up to you, and actual literal rest is helping you, but you're also just I feel called to talk about the dream realm. So your dreams might be giving you inclinations on parts of yourself that you have yet to discover, or even parts of yourself that you have yet to heal, okay? So like a lot of people will have dreams of high school, and that is sort of, especially in the Western world, is a part of our lives that we tend to leave quite big chunks of ourselves behind as far as fitting in and just getting through that experience. A lot of our lives are molded off of those early years. So dream work could be helpful in understanding what parts of yourself you are discovering. Then we have sincere relationships. So this honestly, and I know that this is talking about probably relationships with other people, but these two figures here look like the same person or a twin. So I think that you are being called to create a relationship with your mirror self, okay? This might be work as far as actually looking in the mirror until you start to feel comfortable smiling in the mirror, okay? Your brain doesnn't know the difference as far as like whether you're smiling at another person or another person smiling at you. So smile in the mirror, okay? Give yourself like this self-discovery truly exists within the self. There is no amount of books or videos or TED Talks that you could listen to or read that will tell you who you are. This is really an internal study, and I think that that's why sleep study is being highlighted, and it seems like this is a safe space for this person. It's just really coming into the self, integrating the self, okay? I'm going to keep going, see if we have more guidance. We have outrageous openness. Dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachments. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed, and I'm open to receive. Okay, so yeah, I think the general idea right here is that I'm saying all of these things about self-discovery and connecting with the higher self, but it's kind of like, okay, what does that mean? What is the next step, okay? And the next step is not looking for a step to take, right? The next step is sitting and waiting for your feet to guide you, waiting for life to guide you in the right direction, and seeing what comes to you when you're not so busy reaching out in desperation, okay? Being open to the will of the divine. And we have companionship. So another one over here, giving someone your complete presence is an astonishing gift. So, doubling back on this sincere relationships, it seems like there's someone in your life that can offer you a ton of guidance, and it might not be direct guidance where they're telling you, hey, this is how you're supposed to live your life, but there could be signs and messages in the things that they say to you or offer to you that could really help you discover parts of yourself. And a lot of what it takes to discover the self is a safe place, okay? And it seems like this safe place is kind of created by the second figure. She's like for some reason the word trip guide came into my mind, like someone's trip sitting for you or someone's helping you sit with yourself. So it might be actual like therapy, or it might be a friendship, or it might be a sibling, or even a parent if you're lucky. But it seems like there is someone in your life, or a partner, someone in your life who can offer you the space to be okay and to sit with yourself. Like if you're able to play with someone, and maybe it's a child of yours or a child who is in your life, if you're able to sit and play with someone, you're going to be able to discover a lot about yourself, because it's that outrageous openness to the self, okay? If you're able to sit and draw, or like play with Barbies, whatever it means to you, whatever you really enjoyed playing as a kid, do that more in your life, and you will find that self-discovery sort of coming through, intentionally or unintentionally. But that's sort of connecting to you and not who you've been told to be in your life, okay? Continuing on, we have leaving the door open is not a task, but the result of a mind not obsessively occupied with defending itself. Okay, that's a mouthful. So, leaving the door open, this outrageous openness, is the result of not being obsessively occupied with defending the self. Okay, so again, this sort of integration comes from sitting down, from just just being okay with what it is, being okay with what your life is right now, finding the gratitude and the abundance in what you are doing right now. Abundance does not mean money. Abundance means a lot of anything. If you have a lot of time, if you have a lot of love, if you have a lot of fabric or markers or paper, you have an abundance of something, and that abundance can help you feel grateful and get into the energetic wave of attracting more of the abundance that you've been searching for, be it money or opportunity or career or followers, whatever it is. Being grateful now, being open to look away from whatever door you're trying to go through, you get to see the magic of life right now. There are no more conditions that have to be met in order for you to feel this happiness and this outrageous openness and this self-discovery, okay? Your higher self also wants you to know that depression is pressing us down and keeping us still, okay? So if we're, I think, again, hitting on that feeling that we were kind of hinting at earlier, of just not knowing where to go and feeling like, I feel almost lethargic, like there's something that you feel you should be doing but you can't quite figure out what that is. The point is that you shouldn't be doing anything. You should be sitting with your emotions, feeling your emotions in the body, okay? Being a companion to yourself, even. Just take and just try it out. Take one day to just sit with your life as it is. Don't make any plans for the future. Don't make any like wishes or manifestations. Just look at your life as it is right now and be completely 100% grateful. Mentally, intentionally call yourself to feel fulfilled. Call on your higher self to help you get there if you need it. But whatever you're going through right now, it's trying to keep you, it's trying to hold you down and help you understand what abundance really is, and that you don't need to get anywhere, be anything other than what you are in order to experience abundance, okay? This is another card, another oracle message. And it says, flower of life, you are entering a fertile period of your life. You are guided to think of yourself as a creative being and to surrender your control over how things will manifest and instead allow them to do so. Don't resist change. Instead, go with the flow and let it happen. Now is the time for your blossoming. Wow, that's really beautiful. It talks about the flower of life, and here you have a second flower over here on outrageous openness. So really, I think that it might be time again to just sit and create, and don't try to manipulate anything further than what you are putting out. Don't worry about how it's going to come back to you. All you need to worry about, all you need to be aware of is how beautiful your day is right now at this moment. Look around yourself right now and see all of the things that you have done, your past self has created and brought into your life because they thought that that would make them happy. Now be happy. And it sounds really crappy to just tell someone to be happy, but it's sort of like flexing a muscle, and the muscle is an emotion. And the more you introduce your brain into gratitude and outrageous openness, the more it will sort of get there on its own, and it doesn't have to feel like such a fight or such a dark space when you enter it and you feel uncomfortable. Anything that's outside of your comfort zone or something that you haven't spent a lot of time doing, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But if you spend time practicing something, it's going to feel a lot less uncomfortable when it comes around. And here's something that I've learned in my own life regarding manifestation and abundance lately, is that they will not come true. The things, your wishes will not come true if you are not energetically aligned to them, okay? And it sounds like you can sit there and be like, oh, to like telling yourself, I'm energetically aligned, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. But if you are not feeling ready, okay, it's not about telling yourself you're ready. You have to sit with the feeling. You have to feel it in your body. You have to internalize what it feels like to be fulfilled, and then the manifestations come true. It's kind of like, it's not so simple as throwing a coin in a wishing well. You really have to instead visualize the well as something that's giving things to you already, and it's given you so much. Look at what it's already given you. Be thankful for what you have already been given, and the universe will continue to give you more, okay? So that's sort of, I hope I'm explaining that in a way that's easy to understand. We have 2 more messages from your higher self for the time ahead. The first one says, a river of love flows through you when you let go. Wow, okay, so when you let go, there's a lot of messages right now about letting go, opening, releasing, okay? So maybe doing a meditation on sitting and releasing everything that you feel like you're holding so tightly onto right now. This could be a journaling meditation or a visualized meditation where you really just sit and you open your hands and you let everything that you've been grasping so tightly go into the river of life, and you allow it to come back. And that's the thing about like water, is that no matter what state it's in, it always returns to the next state. It's constantly flowing, it's constantly changing and going in this cycle, and if you allow it to go, it will come right back to you. And I think I just heard a video of a person talking about when you spend money, it's not spending money, it's circulating money. So when you spend it or you go and circulate it, you go give it to the next person, you're trusting that it's going to find its way back to you when you need it, when you want it, okay? And that is sort of going to help you let go of financial worry specifically, because it will take off the pressure of, oh, I'm spending all my money and I need to hold on to it, I need to save and do all of these things with it and be smart about my money. But if you let it go and you realize that you're circulating, you are providing someone else abundance in spending your money, it will come back to you, just like that cycle of water. It's all coming back to you, okay? Trust that. That's what all of this requires, is trust that this is all true. Believe the words that you're hearing right now. Believe the inclinations and the intuition that your higher self is giving you. That's what's going to help you internalize these feelings and realize that point of self-discovery. The last message is, we couldn't know paradise if flowers refused to release their fragrance. Give your gifts freely. Okay. And oh my gosh, so in this image, the girl is painting like a landscape of what's in front of her. So again, spending time with your creative self, spending time with and it's not even like, if you're not an artist, that's fine, because again, I'm looking back over here to Snow White and her sleeping. If you are creative in your dreams, or if you dream and wake up and journal about them, just spending time with what is happening already in your life and not worrying about what you need, what you want to come true. yeah, I just want to reiterate that you have experienced parts of yourself being left behind on this journey, okay? You, again, recognizing where you started and where you are at now is going to be extremely helpful, and who you were before you started the journey, okay? And that could mean spiritually or as a child. Calling on your untraumatized self, that sounds terrible to say, calling on your untraumatized self and asking for guidance, as far as what it would feel like to be open, what it would feel like to be creative, what it would feel like to let go and just be excited to be a part of life, okay? Study life, go out in nature. Maybe that's what creativity means to you. I'm hearing writing, poetry, painting, really anything, any form of creation for you is going to be extremely helpful, and as long as you do it unconditionally, okay? Just create. Don't put any sort of parameters on it. Let your creation speak to you. Yeah, I think that that's all I'm seeing for you, pile number one. I really do wish you an amount wait, what am I trying to say? An immense amount of love. And just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and understand that it's all already here. You are already this person. It's more of just realizing that you are your higher self, okay? You are a part of divinity, and that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning, that you are integrating the entire self, not just your dreams and desires and your career wishes and who you want to be, but realizing that you are everything that you want to be and more, okay? Yeah, again, that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening. Check out my Patreon if you have the chance, and I will see you again next week. Hello, pile number two. We are starting off with the Four of Swords. Okay, so in this card, we see four little elves, maybe real people, fairies, whatever you want to see, on a raft in a large river, and it seems like they're fishing with their four swords. And up here at the corner, there's sort of like a castle that is downstream where they're headed. So right now, your higher self wants you to understand that you are deepening your awareness, okay? And with deepening your awareness or sinking your line of wanting to understand more spiritual truth or heading towards the spiritual truth, you have to be willing to float. You have to be willing to accept that you are with the current of the river and it's taking you exactly where and when you need to be. Yeah, with that, we'll get right into it. I'm really excited for your reading because that's a lot of energy, especially coming from a Four of Swords. But we're going to get into the tarot cards, the other tarot cards of your reading. We have the Four of Wands, okay? Interesting. So, Seven of Wands, okay? And the Tower. Wowza. Okay, so this is really, really exciting for you, especially, so overall, first off, in the first place, your higher self is going to tell you, is telling you right now, is telling me to tell you that this self-discovery for you is going to completely change your entire life, your entire view, this awareness that you're being brought to, that you are realizing you're on this river, is going to change your entire perspective, okay? I'm kind of getting the message that you were raised specifically in one way or another, and it might be religious, it might be logic-based, however that message relates to you. Whatever you were kind of raised on is going to start to unravel in front of you, and your higher self wants you to trust them. Trust the divinity, okay? Especially if you're coming away from religion. It's hard to trust divinity outside of religion, but that relationship is going to be very important for you. The relationship with divine, not so much a god or representation of becoming divine, okay? You are already divine because you are a being in this realm, okay? That's just a very specific message. If you're not religious at all, disregard. But still, either way, your whole entire perspective, your entire awareness is going to be changing for the better. This card, kind of, the Tower card, obviously, stirs a lot of fear in some people because it like gives the same energy as like moldavite if you're a crystal kind of person. Like, it comes to your life to really fuck shit up, but it's doing it in a way that you need it to be done. I just had this conversation with my partner the other day that the trauma that you have experienced could be possibly the best thing that could have happened to you, because it sets you up into a situation to where you're able to make these discoveries about yourself. And again, I know that's hard to hear sometimes, especially regarding trauma. But when we're healing from trauma, we can try to understand, or try to get to a place of understanding where whatever happened to you, it changed what your course of where you were going. If you were with a partner or a parent or whoever it is that hurt you, whatever situation that hurt you, it had to be so deep so that you would come back to the foundation of your life, so that you would come back and reconsider why you're here in the first place. It had to hurt so much, and because if it didn't hurt that much, you would never question life this seriously. You would never question your meaning this seriously, and so you would never take the time to deepen your awareness. You would just continue living in this chaotic existence, okay? So this is a really good message. I just want to say that. This is a really, really powerful message from your higher self about your self-discovery. You are being shown the opportunity to sit with yourself and rebuild your foundation of who you are. Whatever you've previously believed about yourself, throw it all away, okay? I'm getting the idea of just throwing away all of the negative attributes you believe you have. You are extremely powerful, so powerful that other people want to support you and see you be powerful. And it might not be people that are currently in your life, but there is in all of these, well, I guess not these two, but in the message overall is that there's a tribe, there's a group of people that are waiting for you to enter their lives, and you are waiting for them to enter your life, because that group of people is going to make your journey so much more exciting and so much more peaceful. And I was just talking about in pile 1 that sometimes the peace we need in our healing journey is a safe space. And often, very often in today's world, people are our safe spaces. Now, being discerning about who we choose to be our safe space, that is very important, and we have to pick people who are willing to grow and evolve with us. Just picking someone you love is not always the most beneficial thing, but that's up to you to decide, okay? But anyways, I'm going to keep going with your message because, again, so overall, you're on a journey. You're in this, you have to be able to float, okay? You have to come back to the surface of the water from whatever it is that knocked you off of your tower, that whatever made your tower crumble. Come back to the surface of the water, build your raft, and be prepared to float on this river towards higher awareness, okay? That's overall the most exciting, the most helpful thing I can tell you is that you are going towards awareness. You just have to be ready to float. If you're sitting or sinking like a rock, you're not going to be going towards what you're trying to discover, but be open to understanding what's coming for you, okay? Or what you're coming towards anyways. So with more oracle cards, we have Guardian, and that is beautiful. Beautiful addition, number 44. And we have the white bird up here too, and we've got the 2 Egyptian gods in this one. We have the people who are surrounding. We have the, I don't know if that's a bird or a bat, but similar images in all of the cards. Understand you are protected. You are safe. No matter what, you are safe. You're on this little boat again. That's so beautiful. You're on this boat again, on this river in your raft, and you might be afraid of the water. You might have an actual like real life fear of being over water in the ocean. That's okay. You can stay on your boat, okay? your higher self is telling you that they are present for you. They are guarding you. They are helping you. You have survived all of this chaos to get to this point to understand you. Like, okay, also, sorry, I have ADHD, guys. 4 4 4 4. So you have survived everything that you've gone through because your guardian, your higher self, has been here the entire time. Again, maybe the higher self made the tower fall in order to redirect you to this path, and it felt like you were suffering. It felt like it happened to you. But with this awareness, with your ability to come back to the surface, you're understanding it happened for you, because what's ahead is so much more beautiful than anything you could have imagined in this last. That's what we're seeing in these cards too, is like this beautiful energy. I just can't get over like the visuals in these two cards. It's so it gives me like regal energy, and also like magician energy. Like you are discovering pieces of life that you would have never been able to see in this old life, and for that the trauma was worth it. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. I'm sorry if I didn't say that before. That's exactly what your higher self needs you to hear right now. Two more messages. We have worth. You have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. Okay, so we have another visual of a guardian. So you might be really connected to the tiger spirit, but you have this sort of drop of energy within you that is connected to your higher self, connected to divinity, that gives you so much power. Like, it's, if you're not resonating with this message, I get it, because I am also someone who grew up in a chaotic scene, okay? And when I got to my healing, I didn't feel like I was worthy of everything that spiritual study was telling me. That was the hardest part for me to get through, and I'm still getting through it, but understanding that you're worthy just because you are here. Everything that this world told you that you're unworthy of, they were lying, because they told themselves that same message. You don't need to listen to those words anymore. You need to listen to this higher self, this guardian that is here, and it is telling you truthfully, right straight up, you have been worthy to belong, to love all along, this entire time. Okay? There was never a point in your life, nothing that you could have ever done that made you unworthy of love. And we also have allowing. Radical acceptance says yes to reality in any given moment, so what's needed can come next. So allowing. So again, even once we've built our raft, okay, once we've come back to the surface, we have to be okay with now going forward in the flow of life, and being pushed forward away from, there's chaos and trauma, there's healing and understanding and awareness, and then there's what comes after. And it's allowing that to come for us and to envelop our lives so that we can see this just, I don't have words for it, because there really isn't a word for the feeling you get when you start to understand the magic of life and the opportunity when you leave all of that bullshit behind. Also, I just want to hold your guys' heart in my hand and hug you so much. I can understand, I can feel how much you've been through and how hard it is to tell yourself that you're worthy of being here, because they did a good job over here. This tower, when it fell, before it fell, they built it beautifully. So it was so believable. And so now you have one of the hardest obligations in your own life as far as destructing that tower yourself. Maybe it hasn't fallen. Maybe you have to take every brick down by yourself, and that's extremely tough, but you are supported. You are supported by divine energy. Your higher self is here and then some, okay? You have inclinations of your higher self inside of you, and you just have to allow yourself to feel this worth, to feel this ability to look forward and be excited about it and be trustworthy about it, okay? And be a badass about it, okay? It's not even like that's kind of the energy. Like, this is the most cussing I've done in a while in a reading, this pile too, and I think it's just because you kind of gotta like throw that Like, there is divine destructive energy. If you don't know anything about Kali Ma, I don't think that that's who's in this card, but look up the goddess Kali Ma and you can understand so much about divine destructiveness and how she comes to protect us in the first place and protect us from evil, basically, but also she will fuck up anybody who's getting in the way and anyone who's harming you. It doesn't necessarily come across like you're not going to see them go get in a car crash. Maybe you will, I don't know, but the point is that they're going to live in that tower for the rest of their life, and you get to live wherever you want. You get to explore so many avenues of life that these people couldn't even fathom, and that alone is justice. That alone is justice for you. And once again, that trauma, it was for a purpose, okay? Here we have another card from the Isis Oracle, and it says, the Lunar Queen. There is a deep feminine wisdom that recognizes the importance of cycles of rest and replenishment as essential to balance our actions of power and demonstration. You are asked to allow this replenishment for yourself now, trusting that you are in a cycle of creation that is about to shift into a new phase. Release and enjoy the process without having to control or force it. Yeah, you guys are so magical. You guys are so divine that no matter what you think is happening, no matter what feels like it's on fire or whatever, it's happening for a reason. And that alone, that idea, that mentality can help you let go of the control you feel you need to have. The only thing you need to be in control of is your awareness and your readiness to move forward, your readiness to float forward, and that comes with a lot of lightness, okay? Meditating or journaling, whatever it takes to kind of get rid of this like resentment's gonna sink you down and hold you down and weigh you down and keep you from moving forward. So definitely heal through it. Write a letter to all the people who have wronged you and burn it. Do whatever you need to get justice for yourself. If the world isn't ready to give it to you, give it to yourself, right? And with that comes allowing, okay? The divine feminine is very present in your reading, and that goes, it doesn't, sorry, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or anyone in between. The divine feminine can provide you, again, that dark energy that, first of all, like, dark energy as far as like when you plant a seed in the mud, that seed exists within darkness until it sprouts through and it becomes whatever beautiful blossom it's going to become. That is you. It's felt like you've just been in darkness for so long, but really you've been planted somewhere and you are being encouraged to grow and spread out through. And that's what that broadening awareness is going to feel like for you, is that you are bursting through the darkness and you are once again meeting the sun and the rain and the earth, and you just feel so involved with life again. That's what's coming for you if you can allow yourself to be okay and to float back to the surface. Whew, I'm out of breath. This is such an exciting reading. Okay. Okay, so we are most ourselves when furthest from the self we think we ought to be. So, right. Let me get back to the point. Sorry, I got on a tangent there. Self-discovery is what your higher self is leading you back to right now. And the way you're going to be discovering yourself is getting farthest from who you think you have to be. So whatever this world, whoever lived in this tower told you to be, throw it away. Fuck it all. Come back to who you want to be. Who are you inside? Who are you before you were traumatized? Who are you, in your most divine, creative, allowing, open self, okay? When you get rid of the feeling of embarrassment or responsibility, and it's not to say like throw away all of your responsibilities, but what responsibilities can be thrown away? What responsibilities have you held on to that really don't actually serve you in any way or make you feel good at all? That can be tough because that can come into relationships, and I get it, that one's hard, but it's necessary for yourself, okay? You're living this life for you, and if people make you feel bad for living your life for you, they probably need to be thrown out too. Just saying. And then we have the card cycle. So once again, coming back to everything comes in cycles. And that's just to say that on this river, you're going to come back to these moments. You're going to be triggered by this trauma. And you are, honestly, every time you're triggered, it's an opportunity to train yourself, your brain, your spirit, to think of it in a new way and to heal from it. Okay, just because you're triggered, just because something happens again or reminds you of the bad stuff, doesn't mean that everything that you've done otherwise is out the window. Okay, that's the whole point of like karmic cycles and the cycle of life, is that we always come back to certain points, but we're kind of coming back in like an evolutionary way. So is there a new way that you can approach your trauma? Is there a new perspective that can benefit you when you are approaching your trauma, right? So yeah, I have 2 more oracle messages here to keep with you as you go along for the time being. Forget what has already been and wake up tomorrow to a paradise of your own creation. Exactly. You get to do whatever you want in this life, babe. You get to do whatever you want. And if no one has given you permission and you need permission to do whatever the hell you want, here is your permission. Here is your higher self speaking through me, telling you, do whatever you want. Do whatever feels like yourself, okay? Creatively, intentionally, do it all. Do it all. That's all it takes, is trusting yourself to know exactly what it feels like to be alive. And the last one we have is, don't push or grasp for what you want. Let life come to you and flow through you. So again, with this river idea up here with the 4 of Swords, you are being challenged to just create the raft, to just float along in this boat and be guided. Be okay, like start the practice of meditating, of feeling comfortable within the self, and then the opportunities will come and meet you. Again, I mentioned this in the first pile, but I'll say it again. Something I've experienced in my own life as far as manifestation and like getting the things that I want out of life, they only come to me when I energetically align with already feeling them. And I know that that's what we talk about a lot when it comes to manifestation, but as far as like abundance goes, I know everyone's kind of manifesting abundance right now. If you sit with abundance and understand how abundant you are already in your life, that's when it comes into your life in new ways. So what abundance really just means, a lot of something. So what do you already have in abundance? Abundance of time, abundance of love, abundance of awareness, abundance of patience for yourself, abundance of divinity. You are already abundant. We are all inherently abundant, but it's feeling that abundance and sitting with it and recognizing it. That's when it comes into the material world and starts coming through materials and money and things. And maybe that's not even what you're manifesting, but it's sort of understanding you're already there. You are your higher self. This higher self is not separate from you. It's just a different perspective of the self, okay? This feminine energy, it's just a different perspective of the self. So engage that different perspective and see things from a different perspective, a different view, and that will sort of help you disregard the tower moments and put them to the side, and maybe even use them as like a fire, okay? You're burning your, I don't know why I wanted to say chicken. You're like cooking your chicken over the fire of the shit that fell down. Like you're using it, right? That was like a really weird way to say that message, but the whole point is that you're healing, you're moving forward, you are ready for what's in the distance. It's coming to you. You have so much to look forward to that all of this seems so minuscule. Let it be minuscule. Don't stay engaged. And this world is going to try to keep you stuck in this realm, okay? They don't want you to leave. But as long as you don't regard them as powerful as they think they are, you will discover your worth. You'll discover you allow yourself to be this magical, this gorgeous, okay? That's all I'm seeing for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Definitely check out my Patreon if you have a chance, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and discover all of the magic that you have within you. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. Today we have the Four of Hearts to start off your reading. And right off the bat, I want to give you a hug. I know that you are dealing with a lot of strong emotions right now, and it feels like loss or grief or heartbreak. And I want to tell you that whatever you're feeling is valid, okay? Your emotions are a response to life's stimuli, and heartbreaking things happen in life. You deserve to sit with the heartbreak. You deserve to feel it and not be told to get over it and let it go because they don't deserve you, or you just shouldn't be sad anymore. I also want to tell you that it gets better. And whatever you are grieving, you will find again in this life, but 10,000 times more fulfilling, okay? And if you're grieving like a loved one or a parent or someone has passed away, I'm meaning to tell you that their energy is coming right back to you, okay? They have not left you, they have not left this world, they've only left the body and the physical realm, but they are still here supporting you. They're coming back to you. And if you've lost love, love is coming back to you tenfold. If you've lost money, if you've lost whatever it is, whatever you feel like you are grieving over, it is coming back to you. The only difference your higher self wants to tell you through self-discovery is sitting with the emotions and letting them pass. Whatever the outcome of this turmoil feels like to you, let it pass, okay? And I just said don't get over it too soon, but sit with it and let it be instead of pushing it away and trying to hide it from yourself so that it may pass, so that you may look up and see you are saved, you are still here, you are still okay. Things continue, life continues, and you get to experience whatever it is you're grieving, whatever you're feeling sad about. And even if you don't want to sign off, I'm hearing like a relationship, there is possibility that it could transform in a new way, either with a new person or the same person who's being brought back to you, and you are both ready to grow and love each other correctly. There's just some healing things we got to do here and some things we got to let sink, okay? Let's get into your other tarot cards. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the King of Swords and the Nine of Swords. So I'm actually going to switch these, but again, so it seems like something very tragic is present in your life right now, a feeling or an experience. Something has left you feeling very small or very empty, very like, why is this happening to me is kind of the question that's repeating over for me. And I want to point the perspective out that whatever is happening right now is happening for you, okay? Whatever feels like your boat has sunken, you have no hope, it is happening because you couldn't continue living on that boat. You needed to sink that boat in order to build a bigger and a better one. Again, take what resonates, but that is kind of the overall message that we're getting. That is something like it's caused extreme suffering. I see that, and I'm not here to invalidate your suffering at all. I'm just trying to, your higher self is telling me to add the perspective that it's happening for a reason, and I know that that gets really old really fast, but the reasoning this time is extreme self-discovery, and that's what we're here for today, is this beautiful independent connectedness, like divine relationship with life. And both times you have support. This is the King of Swords, or otherwise in this deck is also called Odin. And you experience this trauma, and then you experience what it feels like to rebuild yourself with power and find support, okay? We have the 2 wolves and the 2 crows and the 3 mermaids and the guide over here with a light. You are transforming out of the trauma, okay? You're finding what it feels like to be powerful and to rebuild after you've experienced such great loss. And this rebuilding, this power, this sort of over defense in the beginning turns into a divine relationship with life and a connectedness to your purpose and understanding, okay? Your self-discovery is leading you to this relationship with yourself to where you see your magic and your abilities to connect with whatever it is you've lost. So it's not gone. It's just in the middle of transforming. And that sort of perspective, that understanding is going to help you a lot in accepting this and not stalling out in this area. It's one thing to experience something so severe, but it's another thing to overstay our welcome within our emotions out of compartmentalizing them or just staying stuck in them. You don't really know how to step out of them. Yeah, I'm going to keep going with the oracle messages and see what else your higher self has to say. So release, yeah. I just want to give you guys a hug. You again are releasing this energy. You're releasing this trauma, the energy surrounding your grief and your sorrow, okay? Releasing that is allowing it to transform again into this magic and understanding your higher self is here. Your higher self is present. The fact that you're here listening to this message means so much just to you and your connection to yourself, okay? You are affirming right now that you are on this path and you will be discovering this feeling and internalizing it and sitting with it for the rest of your future. It will not be leaving you once you discover it. I also, again, I mentioned this in pile 2, I believe, but there is such a thing as divine destruction, okay? And if you are interested, look up the goddess Kali Ma. She has a lot to do with justice and destroying things that do not serve the soul, okay? So again, in our 3D realm, it can feel heartbreaking. It can feel like we have nothing to look forward to and we're empty, but really these fractures and these storms are causing us to let go of things. They are telling us to let go of what we've been holding on to so tightly so that something greater can come into our lives. What's above the clouds, what's trying to bless our ground needs to clear away the mess that we've created or the mess that the world has created around us, okay? And that might be physical things or spiritual things like mental mess, whatever it is. It's sort of releasing what's here, releasing, letting things sink, I think is what I said in the beginning, letting things sink to the floor, grieving over it, and then completing the cycle of grief so that we can come into this beautiful, fluid, creative area. I have 2 more messages. Surrender, okay? Sometimes learning to surrender can feel as if you're dying. The ego learns what's hardest to stop trying to control the whole universe. Okay, so things are out of your control, babe. Some things are out of your control. What is in your control, though, is your ability to take a deep breath. Your ability to trust the divine, trust that your higher self has sent you here for a reason. You are listening to this message because you are experiencing ego death in one way or another. You are experiencing the loss of something you thought you could hold on to forever, and you might have attached yourself a bit too tightly to it. So that's why it feels like such a great loss. But also, you're grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on Earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. Okay, so again, whatever it is you feel like you've lost, I pose the question, what have you lost? Right? If it was a person, their love is still here. We've already discussed that. You've lost maybe the ability to see them or touch them, right? But you're still able to live life. You're still alive, right? You are still connected to divinity. You are still here. You just have to surrender to what it means to be spiritually grounded, okay? You have to surrender to the idea that you are this little cow in the field, okay, and the birds will fly away, the butterflies will fly away, but they will return. They will always come back to you, and there will be more, and there will be more, better butterflies. There will be things that are going to love you the way you deserve to be loved are going to come into your life. And that is what can help you ground in this idea, is knowing, having joy, divinity, and courage to breathe, to take another day, okay? To understand that this self over here, if you don't align with it, you have this relationship with yourself to discover. If you feel like you are only this and you've only ever been this, that just means you have more to let go of. And that feels scary, but I promise you it's for the better. That divine destruction is clearing things away so that you may see these beautiful things and eventually resonate with them. I'm going to keep going. So we have a image of a shoot, why can't I think of what it's called? Basically a timer, okay, is what I'm going to say. But the sand will always fall, right? Gravity exists. Past life, present power. As the soul grows in service to the great feminine and her intention that all beings be healed and free, it gathers internal resources to assist on the path. These resources include powers and gifts from other lifetimes. You are currently integrating past life abilities. Be open to what is taking place as your soul awakens ancient power and abilities in you. Okay, well, I was called to take a deep breath, so maybe you need to breathe that one in. So take a deep breath while I reread. The resources include powers and gifts from other lifetimes. You are currently integrating past life abilities. Be open to what is taking place as your soul awakens ancient power and abilities in you. Okay, so power and abilities. That's kind of what we were getting with the Odin card up here. Yeah, you have beautiful connectivity to, and it's cool too that you have Odin, because there might be some inclination towards what resources might be helpful for you at this time, as far as meditations or books or just something that will open your mind to the magic of life, okay? Coming back to being grounded in why you are here, what you are going to be experiencing, what you have to look forward to. You have an immense amount of gifts, and letting those gifts come through and not staying stuck, not feeling like that all the swords are pointed at your back, but in fact you are the wielder of the sword, you are in control of your life, will help you feel grounded and powerful, and internalize all of these gifts that are being given to you, whether they feel destructive or not. It is a gift. Everything that happens to you is a gift, and it's going to it's going to take some shift in your perspective to internalize those gifts. Okay, so we have our habitual stories protect us from the mysteries of life. So what habitual stories are you telling yourself, and are they left over from other people's experiences? All of these images are kind of meant to represent like ancestors, what's been passed down through the line, and how it's keeping you blocked. What stories are keeping you locked in this mental space, or in this mental space of heartbreak? What can you surrender? What habitual stories can you surrender in order to find that new narrative to live by, right? What is your truth? That's kind of what your higher self is asking right now. What is your truth? Who are you outside of your experiences? Who are you before you were ever traumatized or hurt? I think that question's worth sitting with a journal or visualization, just so you can really understand what it is you're getting back to, or what it is you're moving forwards to. What energy is approaching you, as far as like your past life energy, or the guides that want to support you, connecting to that magic, because you're not just a small person with a sad soul, okay? I promise you that's not true. Whatever the situation is, you are not sad. You are experiencing sadness, and you have to regain your ability to wield the sword of power and control and magic. It's not even control really, but just the ability to be present and not have to feel so distant, I guess is the word that's coming through, distant from life. So yeah. The second one we have is your life does not begin the day you are born. Okay, so that's a really beautiful message for anyone who is experiencing grief or loss right now, that if you've lost someone you love, they are not gone. You will see them again. And I think that that message can be really helpful in understanding surrender, letting the soul go where it needs to go. Things don't always make sense to the human brain, but to the spiritual mind, everything is okay. You're all right. Things are happening for a reason, and things are happening for you, not to you. All of this energy is all pointing out that there is this self that you have to discover. There is this relationship you have to discover with the self that creates magical ability and divine presence, okay? Creative fertility. You have, again, this release is bringing you back to creation and creativity. That's what this pregnant figure here symbolizes, is not just, maybe you are trying to plan a family, and maybe that's what's been heartbreaking so far, is the loss of a child or the loss of the ability to create life. You have the ability to create in so many different mediums that if one of them is not working for you, you can find fulfillment in another one. Okay, that was a specific message. But again, you are a creative being inherently. You are creative. You are a creator. You create realities. You create your reality with your thoughts, with your mental space. And if your mental space is stuck in this tragedy and is stuck in this sorrow and loss, you will never be able to see what's above the clouds. You've got to clear the clouds away. You've got to let it go. You've got to surrender it. You've got to complete the steps of grief, okay? And we're not rushing, okay? We're not rushing through it. We're not saying, oh no, I'm fine, I'm good, yep, I'm fine. We are taking the steps in our emotions, sitting with our emotions to let those things go. And maybe, again, with the habitual stories, maybe our idea regarding loss and grief and even death maybe are what's limiting us on moving through this. If you are a Western mind, consider looking towards Eastern philosophy when it comes to death and the spirit of life or the meaning of life. And that can also help you with shifting your perspective and your self-discovery. That can help a lot. Those resources have been extremely beneficial in my own journey. So I have 2 more messages here to keep with you for the time being. We have discard any fears of success and be willing to offer more than it is expected of you. Okay, so fears of success. It seems like things haven't worked out before, so we fear even approaching it again. But again, I think that some things just don't work out sometimes because they're meant to be done in a different or a better way. And that can be translated into any form of what you're experiencing. But as you approach even healing your emotions or sitting with your emotions, don't fear being successful. Don't fear healing out of it. It's outside of your comfort zone at the moment, but your future self, your higher self, is telling me to tell you that you are going to be, one day you're going to be at a certain place with yourself, that all of that fear just held you back. It didn't serve you in any way, and it just prolonged this experience that made it feel endless and empty and bottomless, okay? Letting go of that fear and transforming it back into being grounded, or surrendering it to just saying, I don't know what is happening right now, instead of I know that this is a bad thing, right? Surrendering to the I don't know, the chaos of life, is that we just don't know. We don't know why storms happen, but they come and they transform us in ways that can, again, push us into being the better versions of ourselves or the worst versions of ourselves. But really the only difference is the mentality, is the idea that we're bringing to the opportunities. The last one I have is dismiss thoughts that don't lead to the garden of infinite possibilities. Again, yeah, I strongly, strongly suggest that Eastern philosophy, because infinite possibilities, again, just encourages you to think of something else. Like, if you think that this is happening for one reason and one reason only, that's telling me that we're still working off of these habitual stories. But if you say surrender to, I don't know why it's happening, but I will know in the future, I'm prepared to move forward and gain some understanding. Again, hindsight is 2020, so you're not going to understand while you're in the moment. You're always going to understand looking back, and it's just not serving you to stay in this moment. And again, it's not like just getting over it. It's not just flipping the switch and being like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need to feel this anymore. No, it's like feeling it and then letting it go, letting it pass, no longer compartmentalizing and trying to be so strong that you get through life. Lots of deep breaths. I'm hearing like somatic healing. If you do some things, if your brain isn't really helping you with the healing, working with the body can help you. The Body Keeps the Score is another book that I would recommend. And also just looking up like somatic healing on YouTube. There's plenty of ideas as far as what you can do to help your body support your subconscious, and it will all fall in line. You will not be like this. You will not feel like this for the rest of your life. And in fact, you have an entire life to live outside of this experience. So that's why it's so imperative for you to heal through it, is for this self-discovery that will come after. And moving on is one of the hardest parts of grief. But again, depending on what you're grieving, you don't always have to move on in a way that you are moving away from whatever you're grieving. You can still honor those things. I would encourage building an altar if it's ancestral, or for lost pregnancies or people, or even just creative ideas that you really love. Honor the things that you've lost. Honor the things that you feel like you must grieve. And you could put up a picture of your boat on the wall, but it still has to sink to the bottom of the ocean. It still has to go through its own cycle. You know, we can't really control everything the way we wish to, but that's the part of divinity that is a blessing, that you're not always in control. Because if you were in control, you would have to be as responsible as God, and you just don't want that responsibility, I promise you. You just don't. You have power at your fingertips. It's all within your mentality. You have to trust your power to build you something beautiful. Stay grounded in this realm. Stay grounded to your body. I think a lot of this is telling us that healing has to come in the body, and then the mind will follow, or vice versa, whatever works for you. But it is important that you do, and your higher self is here to support you. She's here, he's here. Your higher self is here in many different ways. Be open, take a deep breath, and mean it just for today, and then do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. One deep breath a day. Thank you guys so much for listening to this video. Check out my Patreon if you have a chance, and I really hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I love you.